November the 9th, 1938. In California, Walt Disney has wowed the world with the first ever feature-length cartoon, Snow White. In New York, Orson Welles is about to bring Martians to America in a dramatic radio broadcast. While in China, a real invasion is underway by Japanese imperial forces. And in Germany, Adolf Hitler is about to sit down to dinner. It's 7 o'clock in the evening. Tonight is one of the highlights of the Nazi calendar, the anniversary of Hitler's first attempt to seize power here in Munich 15 years ago. It's a chance to catch up with old comrades from the early days of the struggle. And for the upper ranks, a night to put aside their petty rivalries and relax. But behind the smiles, there is tension. Joseph Goebbels is Reich Minister for Propaganda. So far, in the eyes of the Führer, he's been a man of limited value. His career is very much on the line. But tonight, all that will change. He will prove that he too is a man of action. A telegram arrives for the Führer, news important enough to interrupt a state occasion. For Goebbels, it is a gift from the heavens. This one piece of news will make his career, if he can persuade the Führer to let him take charge of the evening. Hitler traditionally makes a speech. Goebbels asks to make it instead. It's an incredible demand, given the importance of the occasion. But Goebbels knows that this is his moment, and he must seize it. Hitler finally gives way and leaves the party early. The telegram concerns a man who less than a week ago no one had even heard of. At 5 that afternoon, Ernst vom Rath, third secretary to the German ambassador in Paris, is pronounced dead. He has been shot. And the man who pulled the trigger, 17-year-old Herschel Grunspan, is a Jew. For this single act, the Jews will be made to pay a millionfold. With their homes and businesses, with their freedom, and with their lives. "1938 is the 5th year of Hitler's National Socialist regime. For 5 years, Jews have been blamed for every economic failure of the nation, and gradually, the legal noose has closed around their necks. They are barred from most professions, and their shops and businesses are boycotted. Their books have been burned, and they are excluded from the arts. Even their children are publicly shunned and reviled. Many wonder how much worse it can get. They will soon find out. In Munich, Goebbels is about to light the touch paper to the Holocaust.
Meine deutschen Volksgenossen, das Deutsche Reich ist heute in großer Bedrohung.
He begins on a familiar theme, attacking the Jew as a threat to the peace and security of the Reich.
Jeder einzelne Jude ist aufgrund seiner Geburt und Rasse ein Teil der internationalen Verschwörung gegen das nationalsozialistische Deutschland.
He then breaks the news of vom Rath's death. It is the perfect platform on which to build his case for revenge. Revenge for an act in which he says, all the world's Jews must share the guilt.
Tat eines Einzeljuden, wie in diesem Fall Herrscher Grünspan, sondern der Ausdruck des gesamten Weltjudentums dem deutschen Volk zu schaden. Wir müssen etwas gegen unternehmen.
700 kilometers north of Munich lies the town of Krefeld. It has a large and prosperous Jewish community, including Oskar Gompertz and his family. A reasonably successful traveling salesman, Gompertz is just one of 500,000 Jews in the Reich. They are all about to become unwitting players in a drama that will change the world.
Dagegen muss etwas unternommen werden. Und wir werden jetzt handeln. Jeder einzelne Jude ist in diesem historischen Ringen unser Feind. Ihr Ziel ist die Vernichtung und der Untergang Deutschlands. Und sie werden ihre gesamten Kräfte dafür aufwenden, dieses Ziel in die Tat umzusetzen. Wir müssen uns zur Wehr setzen, meine deutschen Volksgenossen.
70 kilometers south of Munich, across the Austrian border, lies Innsbruck. Even here, the tiny Jewish community will feel the Nazis' wrath. Richard Berger arrives home from work. An engineer and trade union leader, Berger is also president of the Jewish community. 6 months ago, Austria was absorbed into the German Reich, and now he lives under Nazi law. He organized his workers against the union with Germany. Now Berger is a marked man. Nazism is no longer confined to Germany. As well as enjoying a new and welcoming home in Austria, the Reich has recently swallowed Czechoslovakia and parts of Western Poland. The machinery is in place to turn Goebbels' poisoned words into direct action across half the continent. The only questions that remain: how far dare he go? And how far will the people follow?
Das deutsche Volk wird es beenden!
The party bosses are roused to action. It's 1:20 a.m. SS Obergruppenführer Richard Heydrich distills the essence of Goebbels' speech into a series of direct orders. To be sent to all police and SS units across the Reich, it's a blueprint for ethnic cleansing. Demonstrations against Jews are expected and must not be prevented. Jewish property may be destroyed, but not looted. Absolute protection must be provided to non-Jewish properties. As many Jews as possible, for now only healthy males, are to be arrested. All concentration camps are to be alerted to accommodate them. The orders are carefully worded to suggest a containing role for the police in the face of spontaneous public anger. Meanwhile, another set of orders is given over the phone. And throughout the Reich, gangs of young men are let loose in the night with a license to terrorize Jews and destroy their property. But for some, this does not go nearly far enough. By tradition, new SS recruits are sworn in tonight, in a mass ritual across the nation. Here in Innsbruck as elsewhere, they will soon get the chance to prove their allegiance to the Führer by shedding blood.
Ich schwöre dir.
SS Oberführer Hans von Fehr has scores to settle. A number of senior SS are ordered to report in civilian clothes, among them Gerhard Lausegger, a 23-year-old student. Lausegger has been drinking all night, celebrating his graduation. Now a qualified lawyer, he will set the law aside for the sake of the Reich. They are briefed by von Feil. One Jew in particular heads the hit list, local union leader Richard Berger. Lausegger and his team are dispatched with Berger's name and address, and a reminder to be discreet. The Jewish community here is small and tight-knit. Berger's neighbors have had visits from other special units. They have not been very discreet. His friend, Graubart, has been stabbed. His wife has called a doctor, but he is already dead. Lausegger's team decide to deal with Berger away from prying eyes, and he is taken away for questioning. At least, that's what they tell Berger. Already, Goebbels' eager servants have gone beyond the letter of their written orders, as he hoped they would. There had been a chance to put a lid on the worst excesses. It came at precisely 2 o'clock that morning. In Munich, Goebbels receives the first report of how the night is unfolding. It includes a list of destroyed properties and the first report of a death, a Polish Jew. There is also a personal message from the police chief in Upper Bavaria, warning that more deaths will follow unless a restraining order is given. Goebbels refuses to get upset by a dead Jew and issues no order. The night is now set on an irreversible course. All across the Reich, the restraining grip of the law is being loosened, and the order to arrest all male Jews is being carried out with increasing zeal. In Krefeld, in northwest Germany, the Gomperz family are asleep. They are woken by the unmistakable sound of doors being broken open. Three floors below them, a squad of SS have arrived to take Oscar into custody. Oscar fears the worst. Rolf is Oscar and Selma's only child. At 10, he already knows that as Jews, they are different from other Germans. He is about to learn how different.
Oscar, was ist da los?
Sei ruhig mal. Hier will was du so kennen, der ist so.
Only yesterday, Oscar had treatment on an infected eye, and Selma is desperately worried about his health.
Rolf, geh ins Bett!
Was ist denn los? Alles okay.
Ins Bett!
Papa,
ins Bett soll's gehen!
Ins Bett jetzt.
Marsch!
Bitte ins Bett. Ja?
Selma persuades Oscar to let her confront the soldiers, hoping to convince them that he's not at home.
Ich mach das.
Aus dem Weg! Nein!
Der Mann ist nicht da. Verlassen Sie sofort unser Haus.
The arrest is not as straightforward as usual. Selma is a determined woman.
Was glaubt denn Sie, wer Sie sind?
Rolf hears that they have come to arrest his father and decides he must do something. He packs his small suitcase and calls out to his father that if they take him, he will come too.
Wir sind von der SS. Sie sollen Sie nicht zu uns befehlen.
Wir haben überhaupt nichts.
Hier haben der Vollzugsnacht. Wo ist der Mann?
Er ist nicht da!
Ich sage nicht kochen in den Hirnkasper. Schieß einen in den Kopf, ich weiß. Also gut.
Oscar will not allow his wife to be abused any further, nor will he go quietly. In fact, he is determined to make the soldiers leave. It's a dangerous game, but as the SS are about to discover, Gompertz is used to danger.
Lassen Sie ihn in Ruhe, er hat ein schlechtes Herz, er ist krank!
Oscar Gompertz fought in the First World War, the same war where Adolf Hitler fought for the same beloved fatherland. And just like Hitler, Gompertz was awarded the Iron Cross for conspicuous gallantry in the face of the enemy.
Ist das der Dank dafür, dass ihr mir fürs Vaterland den Arsch aufreißen habt lassen? Huh?
Now he is the enemy. Rolf will never forget what happened next.
They seemed to stare at each other for ages. What now? The usual dirty, rotten Jew and a rifle butt in the face? Or worse, an even quicker, final answer. A bullet in the head. Suddenly, the Nazi signals his men to leave and they disappear into the night without even breaking a single dish.
Not everyone is so lucky. All across the country, windows are being smashed. Synagogues and businesses burnt, homes ransacked in an orgy of destruction. In Laupheim, Englishman Michael Bruce witnesses a mob attacking the Jewish hospital for sick children.
In minutes, the windows were all smashed and the doors kicked in. Then all the children were forced out barefoot over the broken glass.
In Berlin, 14-year-old Michael Liebau witnesses the wholesale destruction of his home.
We watched them destroy the whole apartment of 5 rooms. Everything my parents had worked so hard for over 18 long years, gone in 10 minutes.
In Mannheim, Gunther Katz watches every Jewish home in his neighborhood broken open.
All the contents were thrown into the street. Anything that wasn't stolen by the neighbors was piled up outside and burned.
All across the Reich, the story is the same. In over 150 towns and villages, 7,500 homes, businesses, and synagogues are being destroyed. The message to the nation's Jews is unmistakably clear. And the death toll is mounting. An old lady in Elberstadt, a couple of businessmen in Kiel, in Bremen 5 Jewish neighbors. And in Austria, Richard Berger is being driven away by the SS. Unterführer Walter Hopfgardner recounts what happened next.
We drove west through Annichstrasse, over the University Bridge, in the direction of Kronebitten. Berger realized quite quickly that this wasn't the way to the Gestapo, and wanted to know where we were taking him. He got a bit nervous and agitated, but Lausiger managed to calm him down, at least for a while. Then, just as we left the city, Lausiger suddenly announced, in a voice loud enough so everyone could hear him, that no firearms were to be used. I think this upset Berger, and he went quiet. and I knew then that Bürger was to be killed.
Night gives way to a grey dawn. It is the last one Richard Bürger will ever see. Richard Bürger, leader of his community, husband and father, is dead. But Robert Dewey wants to be sure. He disobeys Lausegger's order not to use weapons. In the SS, discipline is everything, as Lausegger is careful to remind him. When the body is finally recovered, the Gestapo will record Bürger's death as suicide. A line has been crossed during the night. A rule of law no longer counts for Jews. Any Jew, all Jews, are now fair game. Without restraint, how far will their tormentors go? November 10th. A new day brings a new world for both Jew and non-Jew in Hitler's Germany. As Dr. Arthur Flehinger recalls, it is a day of triumph of the strong over the weak. Flehinger is a professor at the main high school here in Baden-Baden and a Jew. He is arrested at his home and led into town. Here in Baden-Baden, a total of 80 Jewish men are rounded up in the early hours of November the 10th. Too many to shoot. The SS and local police have other plans. Paraded through the streets, they are verbally abused and spat on by their neighbors. Then herded into the synagogue where a grand finale awaits them. Today, there will be a special service in honor of the Führer. And so begins the final lesson in ethnic cleansing.
Willkommen zu unserem Gottesdienst! Können wir unseren Gottesdienst beginnen?
An SS officer welcomes them to their own house of God.
Und wir singen das Horst-Wessel-Lied. Wir werden heute singen zu unserem Gottesdienst.
The service is ready to begin. And of course they will start with a hymn, a proper song, the Nazi anthem, Horst-Wessel-Lied.
Genauso werden wir anfangen. Mit dem Horst-Wessel-Lied. Das kennen wir doch alle, oder? 2, 3, 4, die Fahne hoch, die Reihen fest. Halt! Das geht
They are not in good voice, so he makes them sing again, and again, and again.
Die Fahne hoch, die Reihen marschieren im Geist.
Their resistance is passive, but it's still resistance.
Halt! Habt ihr mich nicht verstanden?
He threatens to have them shot if they don't put their hearts into it.
Wir sollen laut sein.
It's important they get it right,
Von euch erschießen.
that they open their throats and swallow the essence of Nazism like a pill and allow their very identity as Jews to be consumed.
Mit Robert nur eine kurze Zeit.
Eventually, the singing meets with approval. Now it's time for the sermon. What better text than Hitler's diatribe against the Jews, Mein Kampf? And who better to read than the local school professor.
Vorlesen.
Flehinger is given the job of enlightening his congregation.
So ist der Jude heute
The description of himself as a vile enemy of his own country sticks in Flehinger's throat.
Deutschlands.
Lauter!
He is encouraged to try harder.
Wo immer wir in der Welt Angriffe gegen Deutschland sehen, sind Juden ihre Fabrikanten, gleich wie auch im Frieden ein Draht.
But it is clear that even this pantomime is just a sideshow to the main event of the day.
Die Gedankengänge des Judentums dabei.
The destruction of their beloved synagogue and their physical removal from Baden-Baden. One way or another. Eventually, bored with the routine humiliation, the SS torched the synagogue. That night, a total of 275 synagogues are burned to the ground. In a single stroke, the religious and cultural landscape of Germany is stripped of all its Jewish landmarks. By mid-morning, November 10th, the storm has blown itself out. But Germany has changed, and everyone knows it. The last shred of innocence has been stripped from the Third Reich. This is what the world will remember as Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. This is what the slogans mean. Juden raus. It's decision time for the German people. Whose side are they on? For Joseph Goebbels, it is the launchpad to a glittering career. He and other senior party officials proposed two resolutions. Firstly, that the Jews themselves should pay for the cleanup. 1 billion Reichsmarks is extracted in fines. But this is just the beginning. Secondly, they agree, the Jewish question will demand a more systematic solution. A final solution. Arthur Flehinger and 114 fellow Jews are spared the flames of Baden-Baden synagogue. Not out of compassion, but for a more efficient means of disposal. Here and there, a few escape abroad before the storm, including Oskar Gompertz and his family. But in the course of Kristallnacht, more than 26,000 are arrested and sent to the camps. The world reacts with horror, but does nothing. So begins the Holocaust. From all across Europe, more than 6 million Jewish men, women, and children will follow, never to return.